your news, keeping our state informed. Broadcasting from the home of the Bulldogs. Now, from the University Television Studios of Mississippi State University, this is Take 30 News.
Good afternoon, I'm Kevius Blakely. We have the latest information about the Golden Triangle that happened last night in our area. The 24th Annual International Fiesta kicked off this past weekend. We will tell you about all of the fun and excitement that took place and how the different cultures from around campus mingled with one another.
And I am Pranav Jadhav. A 6-year-old died after his mother drowned him. We'll give you the details, but first, a pinger believed to be from the missing Malaysian 370 jet has been found. This is our top story this evening.
Jesus Christ. Take one shot.
We finally have all of the information we wanted about the missing Malaysian jet MH370. Chinese ships on Saturday claimed they could have found the black box from the missing Malaysian jet after a ping sent allegedly from a black box was transmitted to a Chinese ship. According to CNN, that location is outside the previously announced search areas for the missing plane off the western coast of Australia in the Indian Ocean. A Chinese search plane also reported seeing white objects on the ocean surface, a Chinese news report said. A heavy downpour across the state of Mississippi led to waterlogging in many areas in the state last evening, one of which was Golden Triangle Airport, which is home to Columbus, Starkville, and West Point, connecting 2 flights to Memphis and Atlanta. The airport experienced waterlogging in the terminal late last evening. Flash floods warning were issued by the National Weather Service in Jackson at 7:30 for Oktibbeha, Choctaw, Chickasaw, Itawamba, Lee, and Monroe counties. MSU weather team predicted around 2 inches of rain in the area. The airport authorities told Take 30 News that the situation is under control. Flights are operational and the terminal is now open for passengers.
The first female commander of a numbered U.S. Navy fleet has been named. Vice Administrator Jan E. Tigg will now be the head of the U.S. Fleet Cyber Command and 10th Fleet, according to the ACNN report. She will take this place of Administrator Michael S. Rogers, who will now become the director of the National Security Agency. She will be the 10th Fleet's third commander. Tigg graduated from the U.S. Naval Academy, Defense Language Institute, and Naval Postgraduate School with degrees in math and engineering. Her first mission as commander will involve cryptologic operations and electronic warfare.
Constant escalation in the East Asian region has prompted the United States to send 2 more warships to Japan by 2017. In a statement, U.S. Defense Secretary Chuck Hagel said, quote, "In response to Pyongyang's pattern of proactive and destabilizing actions, including recent missile launches in violation of UN Security Council resolutions," end quote, it has been announced that the United States is planning to forward deploy 2 extra Aegis ballistic missile defense ships to Japan by 2017. With this happening, it now brings our Japan-based fleet of BMD-capable ships to a total of 7.
Parents of an 18-year-old teen who was shot Sunday morning at Club Rock nightclub are asking the public for help. David M. Blanchard and Kismet Hamilton made a passionate plea to the community at a Thursday morning press conference asking for information regarding the shooting. Their son Zacharias Blanchard was one of the 5 victims injured in the shooting last weekend. Investigators say he was shot in the head. Blanchard remains in intensive care at the University Medical Center in Jackson. Lead investigator Lieutenant Brett Watson says he and his staff will continue to encourage the public to come forward with any information.
A 20-year-old Colorado Springs woman was sentenced to 41 years in prison for killing her mother-in-law. Elizabeth Rainey pled guilty in January to the gruesome murder of her husband's mother, 59-year-old Deborah Rainey. Rainey killed her mother-in-law after inviting her to a family dinner in April of last year. Police say she threw boiling water on her, forced bleach in her mouth, and stabbed her multiple times in the heart, stomach, and throat. Investigators say Rainey admitted to killing her after she said voices in her head told her to do so.
Due to the many construction projects currently going on around campus, traveling from place to place has become quite difficult. With 4 major roads being blocked and caution tape markings all over the campus, students have to find alternate ways to walk to class, as well as alternate routes when driving. Stadium renovation, along with sidewalk and parking renovation, have caused many obstacles when trying to get to the busiest areas on campus. Although obstacles do exist, one student feels that overall renovation is definitely needed.
Positive aspect. It's just a temporary situation, that we're in right now.
Chains currently lock the gates of that will soon become a new parking garage for MSU. The new parking garage will be located just behind the MSU post office.
Coming up, Karen Fairley will give you an update on how the MSU women's softball team did this past weekend. And she will also talk about the NCAA Men's Basketball Championship that's coming up tonight. Stay with us. So now Sports Ad-lib. What do you want to...
Who would you leave behind? If you're struggling with suicidal thoughts, call the National Suicide Hotline.
In high school, you got away with it. But now, at Mississippi State, do the right thing. Obey the honor code.
The rainforest is home to nearly 2/3 of animal species, and almost half the medicines that we use come from rainforests. But by 2060, nearly all of our rainforests will be gone. So how do we stop it? One way is to recycle. At home, at work, at school. Recycle paper, cans, bottles, and more. Also, save energy by using cold water in the washing machine. Keep your car tuned up and carpool or use public transportation. And finally, spread the word to everyone you know about ways you can save our rainforests.
What's going on in the world of sports, Karen?
Well, our track team won numerous awards this past weekend, and I'll have an update on March Madness coming up. Stay tuned. Good evening and welcome to Take 30 Sports. I'm Karen Fairley. The MSU track and field team traveled to LSU this past Saturday to compete in the 4th annual Battle of the Bayou. During the contest, MSU had 4 wins and broke 2 school records. Junior Emma Niall won the women's 3,000-meter steeplechase and set a new school record in the process with a 10.19.70 time. Sophomore Sydney Rocky tied the school record and also made a career best in the women's pole vault with 12.2.50. She also earned 6th place in her competition. On the men's side, junior Damian Roscoe won 1st place in the men's 3,000-meter race, and hurdler Scott Heron clinched the last win of the day for the maroon and white in the men's 400-meter hurdles. Next up for the Bulldogs, they will compete in the Border Clash on April 11th in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. The MSU women's tennis team entered this past weekend searching for a way to snap its 5-game losing skid, but unfortunately for the Lady Bulldogs, their losing streak would continue. The team dropped both of their matches this past weekend against Florida and South Carolina, 0-4. The losses now extend their losing streak to 7 games, and their record now stands at 1-10 in conference play. Despite the setback this weekend, the team received exceptional play from senior Georgiana Pat Rasick, who had her senior night in a bittersweet way. The Lady Bulldogs will rack up their season this upcoming weekend when they travel to take on the 10th-ranked Texas A&M Aggies on the 11th and then Missouri Tigers on the 13th. Conference play has been giving the MSU women's softball team fits all season long, and this past weekend would not be any different. The Lady Bulldogs hosted the Missouri Tigers in a 3-game series. They got off to a slow start by being shut out in the first game and losing by a score of 0-6. But the Lady Bulldogs bounced back in Game 2 on Saturday. The team received a big boost from catcher Sam Leahan, who blasted a two-run home run, which helped give MSU a 9-3 victory. With the series being tied at 1 game apiece, Missouri came out on top in Game 3, winning 8-1. The Lady Bulldogs record stands at 9-3 in the SEC. Now they prepare to travel and take on South Alabama this Wednesday. The New Orleans Saints have made another big move this year in the offseason as they signed 12-time Pro Bowler Champ Bailey. Bailey has played for the Denver Broncos for the past 10 years, but looks forward to joining an improving Saints secondary. Bailey joins Darius Byrd as the 2 new Pro Bowlers addition to the team. The Saints have long needed help in the secondary after only collecting a total of 12 interceptions this past season, which ranked 24 in the league. These moves may put them in position to make a deep run in the next year's playoff. The madness of March has continued on into April with the final 4 teams. The UConn Huskies got a win over the Florida Gators by 10 points. Kentucky, on the other hand, beat the Wisconsin Badgers by 1 point. The Wildcats got a huge 3-pointer from freshman Aaron Harrison with 5 seconds left on the clock. The Badgers couldn't answer back, giving a UConn-Kentucky championship game. Though no one expected these highly seeded teams to be in the finals, they're here, and it is sure to be a great ending to this year's tournament. Well, that's all I have on the latest in sports for today. Stay tuned and find out how citizens from around Starkville are gearing up to help fight cancer. You don't want to miss it.
Hi, I'm Caleb Story, and I'm here with you today to tell you about keeping Mississippi State beautiful. Since 1878, Mississippi State has remained a beautiful and clean campus. Do what I do. Do your part to keep this campus classy and clean.
Procrastination is the destruction of most, if not all, college students. By the time we reach college, we are all experts at avoiding the inevitable. Avoiding homework to get more leisure time sounds like a good idea until the night before when we have to cram. You can avoid becoming a victim to procrastination by assessing the task at hand, scheduling times to work on it, and eliminating distractions.
Don't put off your homework. Do it now.
Good, she's finally out.
Be careful.
Welcome back to Take 30's Health and Wellness. I'm Clinton Alexander. Researchers say that being thin may become a thing of the past, According to the Gallup Healthways Well-Being Index, obesity is higher than 15% in all metro areas around the country except for one. Boulder, Colorado is ranked as the thinnest city with a 12% obesity rate, while Huntington, West Virginia, and McAllen, Texas, tip the scales as the fattest cities with over 38% of their populations considered to be obese. Jackson, Mississippi still makes the list, but has dropped to number 8. According to a study presented last week at the 63rd Annual American College of Cardiology Scientific Sessions in Washington, runners who run more than 20 miles a week don't live as long as those who run less than 20 miles a week. As a matter of fact, the study shows that runners who run 20 miles a week live about as long as people who don't run at all. The data in the study analyzed over 3,800 men and women over the age of 35 who are participating in the Masters Running Study. Almost 70% of the participants reported running more than 20 miles a week. Plastic bags, once thought of as a perfect alternative, have been banned in one U.S. state. Hawaii has taken the initiative to ban the use of plastic bags throughout the island, saying the bags directly impact the marine state by piling up in landfills, polluting the ocean, and choking wildlife. Shop owners say customers will have to use reusable bags or paper bags. As of now, customers are being charged for plastic bags until the official bans of the plastic bag starts in 1 year. MSU hosted their annual Relay for Life ceremony in order to celebrate the lives of cancer survivors. Our very own Amber Cooper has the story.
On April 4th, Mississippi State hosted its 5th annual Relay for Life event this past Friday. Relay for Life is a 12-hour event that took place on the junction at MSU's campus, where many students, faculty, staff, and residents of the Starkville area joined together in order to celebrate cancer survivors and to remember those who lost the battle and are still currently fighting against cancer. The theme of this year's event was making Relay wishes come true. All the teams had Disney-themed booths where they served food and had plenty of fun and games for everyone to enjoy. The survivor ceremony that took place at 6 p.m. and the Lomarian ceremony that took place at 9 were two of the ceremonies that honored the survivors, the caretakers, and those who lost their lives due to cancer.
What Relay does is we have 3 basic goals: celebrate, remember, and fight back. We want to celebrate survivors of cancer who have battled this disease and been victorious.
The ceremony was inspirational to not only survivors, but caretakers as well.
I just love all the little booths and the things that everyone can do to support cancer. My mom personally fights colon cancer, so events like this mean a lot to me to raise awareness.
With a great turnout at this year's event, it shows that people in the Starkville area are really determined to fight cancer. From Take 30 News, I'm Amber Cooper.
Here we go. For information on how to be a part of next year's event, email jbaker@saffairs.msstate.edu. Well, that does it for me on all of the latest issues on health and wellness, but don't touch that remote. Coming up, we will update you on the International Fiesta that took place here on campus this past weekend, and we'll also give you the latest on David Letterman. You don't want to miss it.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that paper. Yeah, went to Reese's class. Well, no, I'm not going to do it.
Who would you leave behind? If you're struggling with suicidal thoughts, call the National Suicide Hotline.
Some people think they don't have to obey the rules. But when it comes to the rules here at Mississippi State, you better take notice. Don't think you're above the law, or they'll find you. Nope. You could find yourself on the outside looking in.
Ring responsibly, MSU.
Last show host David Letterman announced his retirement last week from the Late Night Show. Late Night with David Letterman. Letterman is TV's longest running show host in TV talk show history, with 31 years of hosting experience. At age 67, he is the oldest show host at his age, and CBS recently renewed his contract to keep him on air until he receives multiple awards and honors until 2015. The Late Night Show. Welcome back. I'm Desmond Davis here with your entertainment news. The Late Night Show host David Letterman announced his retirement last week for his show, TV's long-running show in TV history, with 31 years of hosting experience. At age 67, he is the oldest show host on his age. His contract was recently renewed by CBS to keep him on the air until his retirement. Since the show's debut in 1993, he has received multiple awards, and he's finally be aired in 2015. This past weekend on MSU's campus, more than 20 different nations was being represented at the 24th Annual International Festival. The Take 30 News' Quentin Smith has what to tell us about it.
The International Fiesta was full of fun and excitement all evening long. The event brought out the many different cultures from around campus to showcase their culture's heritage.
International Fiesta is a great opportunity to foster cultural exchange amongst different cultures here that exist within the Starkville community, as well as here at Mississippi State University.
The Fiesta was for people of all ages. The event was highlighted of games, authentic music, performing acts, and crafts and exhibits. The event brought out diversity and helped many people form new friendships from those of other countries. In fact, some people praised the diversity that this event helped brings out.
I love that we are able to celebrate all these cultures and everything here at Mississippi State University. It's always good to see like all these cultures just mixed together in one place. You got Korean club, you got Japanese club, you got the German club, the Vietnamese, you got all of these clubs at once and everything. It's a wonderful thing.
For everyone who came out, they definitely brought an appetite. Vendors offered people to come to their tent and try out their foods to get a taste of what they eat from back home. This was definitely everyone's favorite part of the event.
Just trying out the different foods, like the Vietnamese table, they had the shrimp kebab. So it's kind of like you get to see what we have that's similar to them, and they just have a different twist on it.
If you were to ask those who showed up, one could easily say the Fiesta was definitely a success.
It's the food, the diversity. I really like to come here, watch people dress up in different, their cultural costumes, the dances, and it's everything, literally everything about it.
This year's International Fiesta was truly a wide variety of food, entertainment, and just pure fun. With Take 30 News, I'm Quentin Smith.
The International Festival was also held. After scrutiny following her big reveal on this hit show, The Biggest Loser, Rachel Fredrickson has gained 20 pounds. Fredrickson's dramatic weight loss caused a major health controversy, as many said she was too skinny. At this time, she has gone from 260 pounds to 105 pounds, drawing much more criticism. Now the 24-year-old has put on a few more pounds to maintain a more healthy weight and work to keep up her healthy eating and daily routine. One of Mississippi State's oldest students ran organizations get prepared to celebrate their 42nd annual spring concert. Two praise ministry are saying is that Black Voices of Mississippi State plans to do at their 42nd annual spring concert. BV is the oldest African American student-ran organization on campus and has been in operation for 42 years. President of the organization tells us how she feels about it.
I don't think that it'll come back to me void. I just really believe that God is going to do something great with this concert, and I'm just thrilled to be a part of it.
That's all we have for you today on Take 30's Entertainment News. I'm Desmond Davis. Keep it locked.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that paper. Yeah, went to Teresa's class. Well, no, I'm not going to do it.
Who would you leave behind? If you're struggling with suicidal thoughts, call the National Suicide Hotline.
Some people think they don't have to obey the rules. But when it comes to the rules here at Mississippi State, you better take notice. Don't think you're above the law, or they'll find you. Nope. You could find yourself on the outside looking in.
A popular cafe in the heart of the Cotton District closed this past week. Jean's Cafe, a Chinese restaurant famous for their cheese wontons, was closed by the owner after disagreements with her landlord. Helen Ma told Starkville Dispatch that she will miss her customers the most, who say she is known for her very talkative personality. Ma and her husband were co-owners of Jean's Cafe and recently won Best Chinese Food in Starkville. This year marks 6 years Jean's Cafe has been in business. That's it from Take 30 News. Join us every Monday and Wednesday at 4 Central Time. I am Pranav Jadhav.
And I'm Kevious Blakely. Thanks again for joining us. Follow us on Facebook.